Do you guys remember when a bunch of people stormed the Capitol trying to overturn the election and it didn't work, thankfully? Do you guys remember that? Well, we're back at it again, boys. We're back at it again. Trump is making an address at prime time on Thursday talking about probably election fraud, is what Reuters, Axios, and a bunch of other sources think, among other things, including Iran, but mostly about 2020 election integrity. And we're going to be talking about that today. And, of course, I will be covering it live when it comes out on Thursday. So let's do that. That's right. The commander-in-chief will be talking at prime time on Thursday about election fraud. And according to Reuters, President Trump will give a national address on Thursday night about newly declassified intelligence on investigations into U.S. elections, which is interesting, right? Because if it's like newly released or declassified, why wouldn't it have been declassified, when it happened or at the start of his term, right? So I think that's kind of a load of BS, unless they're fabricating something. And that's actually the current idea of what is going on. The idea is that they're fabricating things. First of all, there's a theory going around, and this is purely hearsay, right? This is not verifiable, right? But the current theory is that they're going to pardon Nicolas Maduro in exchange for him saying that Venezuela engaged in election fraud in the 2020 election that swung America blue, right? So that's one theory about what's going to happen. I think Nicolas Maduro would be more than happy to fork over that information instead of, serving the rest of his life in U.S. prison. So that's one theory. And then another theory is that he's going to take... Do you guys remember when the feds raided the Georgia ballot office? And just took a ton of ballots, took a ton of voter rolls in Fulton County, Georgia. I'll talk about that a little bit later today because I think it's getting important. We never knew what happened to those documents, right? But we do know that there's probably something fishy going on there. And that's like one of the theories about what he's going to talk about tonight, is he's going to make some BS claim that because of all what's going on in Fulton County, it must be cheating. Fulton County, there's nothing going on there, guys. Guys, we all know there was nothing going on there. Anyway, as Reuters said, elections and what the White House says are voting machine vulnerabilities. Sure. An administration told Reuters on Monday. By the way, this is on the heels a couple weeks ago of the Supreme Court striking down Trump's claim on mail-in ballots, right? So we're not dealing with that BS anymore. Reuters continues, the numerous courts, ballot audits, and his first-term Justice Department found no such evidence of such fraud, which makes sense. There was no fraud, including vote-rigging machines. Ooh. The federal cybersecurity watchdog joined other federal, state, and local officials in declaring the vote the most secure in American history, which kind of a grandiose claim, but whatever. I'm not here to hate. Propelled by Trump's repeated claims that U.S. elections are rigged, the administration for over a year sought to increase federal oversight of election administration and reshape the Americans' vote. Basically just rehashing kind of some of that interesting stuff. You should absolutely read this article. And then obviously this is on the heels of Lindsey Graham's death, which I think is going to play a part in it, right? If you remember, just minutes, like the first thing that he said about Lindsey Graham is that he was a massive proponent to the SAVE Act, which is true, but it's also like not true to the level that Trump's talking about. Trump is taking his death and just like running with it as some sort of like for his own political game, which is really Trump. I mean, this is the man who, when his ex-wife died, I don't remember exactly what happened. When his ex-wife died, he buried her 100 feet away from the main clubhouse on his golf course so that it would be tax exempt because it would be considered a cemetery. Like, that's genuinely insane. He had no gravestone, just buried 6 feet under. Insane. Anyway, he's just going to use his death for the Save America Act, and I do think the Save America Act is going to play some sort of part in that. And I will remind you, don't let it pass. Please, please call your representative, call your senator, and tell them what you think about the Save America Act, which hopefully is that it's a cheating bill. And thankfully most all Democrats and some Republicans even have said no to it. And that's wonderful that they're at least American in that way. So that's it on that front. And there's one more clip I want to show you. This is Speaker of the House Mike Johnson saying that the election fraud is so far upstream, it's so hard to pin down that, like, we don't know where it is in California, right? I mean, make that make sense. So we're going to play that.
But what evidence is there to prove that there was rigged?
Look, some of these efforts are so diabolical and so far upstream that it's impossible to prove. But I think everybody knows instinctively something is wrong here.
Whoa. I mean, I believe him. The election fraud must be real, right? I mean, it's gotta be real. It's gotta be real now. Like, that seems unequivocal. I don't think we can argue with that. I don't think there's any coming back from what we just learned there. This is stupid. This is really dumb. This is genuinely the dumbest thing I've ever had the displeasure of looking at. Sorry, I know the video is kind of short, unlike usual, right? But I just wanted to let you guys know about this. And also, big also here, I will be covering it live when it airs, right? And then afterwards, I'll be talking live about what I think just happened, okay? So if you guys want to see the live address and you don't want to fiddle with C-SPAN or whatever, come to my channel. I'll show you guys, and then we'll talk about it later. I'll talk to you guys about it. We'll see what you guys are thinking about it, and yeah. So subscribe and like the video for that. And yeah, I'll see you guys.